Welcome, fellow golfers, to the inaugural episode of Senior to Scratch, which is basically my journey from a five ish handicap and trying to get down to a scratch handicap. Hopefully, this happens this year, maybe next, maybe never. But the one thing that I am doing differently is I have a plan, and I'm going to share that plan with everybody. And hopefully, this helps others as well as maybe I can get some feedback to help myself. It's a extremely cold day here in early March in Calgary, Canada. The mercury is dipping below, say, 0 Fahrenheit, or it's colder than -20 Celsius right now. So I am definitely thinking warm thoughts and can't wait for that golf season to start in hopefully mid to late April. A little bit about myself. My name is Paul Nayyar. I'm in my early 50s, hence the term senior, which is obviously a reference to the old senior tour, which is now the Champions Tour, where you had to be at least 50 to participate. My golfing journey started in 1997 when a young fellow by the name of Tiger Woods burst onto the scene and won the Masters. The excitement that he brought to the sport just lured me in my mid 20s. And 27 years later, here I am still hacking away on the golf course. I casually played golf, between that time when I got my first set of clubs in 97 until probably 2012 ish, at which point I joined a private golf club. So it allowed me to golf more than a handful of times a year. In the last 12 years or so, I've probably bounced from a high single digit all the way to probably in the mid twos. Now I'm a 5.1. So this goes back to, Einstein, I think it was Einstein once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that was basically what my strategy was prior to this year. It was watching YouTube videos, watching some professional golf on TV, and thinking, "Hey, if only I did this with my swing, or this with my lower body, I could start striping some irons and drivers, and all of a sudden get to scratch." Obviously, that strategy hasn't worked in the last 12 years, so it's time to do something else. So my plan is to share the foundations of my plan, and then once golf season starts, I'll do some periodic updates of how things are going and hopefully progressing in the positive direction. I did want to talk a little bit about what I do for a living. I am a professional engineer in Alberta, Canada, and a lot of my job is data driven. Unfortunately, I haven't treated golf in the same fashion. I mean, I've done the requisite putts per round, fairway percentage, green percentage, scrambling, and I don't believe that's enough. So, part of my plan is going to be on this data-driven approach to help me with course management and such. On the golf course, I would say I would be classified as a weekend hacker. I try to get out once or maybe twice on the weekend. I play in a men's night event at the club, which is typically not play your own ball, or if it is, it's some sort of weird format that incentivizes you to go for it, which often gets me in trouble. So, as far as my tournament play is concerned, I've really only played in two club championships in the past 11 years that I've been a member. They haven't really been all that successful. I think I did fairly well in one of my flights, which really wasn't a high flight, and not so well in the other one. So there's definitely a huge mental component for me when it comes to competing with others in a formal setting. The last thing I'll mention is the short golf season we have here in Calgary. Roughly late or mid October is when the course shuts down. We open up again in mid to late April. So the golf season tends to be less than half the year. So what I've done in the past is simply really nothing in terms of golf. So when I do start it up, it usually takes me a couple of months to get back into the swing of things. This year, however, has been different where I have joined winter simulator league, so I've been hitting balls, albeit into a screen. So that's good. I've also purchased a simulator that I can hit some balls in the house, which has really helped in terms of just getting up out of bed, do some stretching and hitting some balls casually, as well as getting a lot more data and analytics associated with a variety of shots, approach shots, as well as short game shots. Okay, so you're probably wondering, well, what am I going to cover in this podcast? I'll start with this multi-pronged approach to how I plan to chip away at those 5 strokes and get it down to 0. It's going to be centered around 4 main items. The first one is fitness and nutrition. As we age, we need to spend time staying in golf shape with strength and flexibility. Also, food is key to fueling the body properly and managing inflammation as we age. So I will talk a little bit about what I've done in that front. Secondly, the mental and course management approach is very important. I think once skills are at a certain level where you can get around the course, then it becomes focus and the mental approach to golf. And that's key to get to the next level. I know when I have bad holes or strung a few bad holes together, I sort of get down on myself. I lose the desire. And so I need to change that approach. And so I'm going to share some techniques that I've been working on. The third thing is the off-season preparation. As I said, in the past, I've not done anything for the 6 months golf-related. So now I'm going to talk about what I've done differently this year compared to all the previous years to get a leg up on the next golf season. And finally, I'm hopefully going to talk about my in-season plans. So more formal practice plans, stat tracking, going more non-traditional and going towards strokes gained and that sort of thing, and trying to use course mapping. And of course, I'll do updates on my progress throughout the season. So I really hope the upcoming podcast will be of interest to golfers in general and older golfers specifically. Maybe I'll even be lucky enough to get some experts on the show. So I'm confident that I will make a step improvement this year, and I hope these suggestions will help others trying to improve their games as well. So thank you for putting up with me for a few minutes here, and we will see you at the next episode of Senior to Scratch.